I think we need to stop comparing friendships and romantic relationships. They're not one of the same. And a lot of times I hear people comparing them because of the that debate of the low maintenance friend, that debate. Um, and I think that we have to stop doing these things because it's not the same kind of relationship. It's just like, when somebody you're dating a mama's boy and you're requiring something of him and he's having a hard time with boundaries and he's like, but that's my mama. And you're like, I'm your wife though. And it's not that you're asking him to disregard his mother, you're asking him to create boundaries, right? You're asking him to have healthy boundaries, and to learn how to compartmentalize his relationships in his life. And that is one with his mom and one with his wife and with the children or whatever it is, that type of thing. But when we're talking about relationships, and I was thinking about this because I was thinking about people who are like have personality disorders, people who are like abusive, or people who mistreat the people that they date, or mistreat or choose, because sometimes a person, when they're abusive, they choose a person to mistreat, right? And you may be that person and everybody else is like, this person is great, oh my god, yeah, Bobby, oh yeah, he just fixed my tires the other day. And you're like, that guy, Bobby's a psychopath. Bobby is a psychopath, right? And I know that we use this narcissistic, narcissist word a lot, and maybe they're not a narcissist, maybe they're a sociopath, maybe they're a psychopath, whatever it is, right? But they have some sort of personality disorder where they are prone to be abusers, and sometimes they choose a victim, and sometimes you are that victim. And when we are okay, so going back to romantic relationships, and all of this ties in, my mind is all over the place, so excuse me. um, when we are talking about people and um, them being good or bad or whatever, no, when we're talking about relationships and friendships and comparing them, you're in a relationship. You're with that person every day, all day. You've committed to that person. You're sleeping next to that person. You're intimately, right? There's an intimacy part, right? That you have experienced with that person. So when you are intimate with a person, let's talk about like soul ties of what people call it, right? You can there's a different sort of connection that you feel, that you take on when you are dealing with a person romantically, right? And it's a certain level of intimacy, a certain level of vulnerability that you cannot hide, that you can hide in friendships, right? This is why it's so hard. This is why comparing these relationships, friendships and romantic relationships, it shouldn't be. Neither, I'm not saying, um, is not as important, right? This is coming from a person who I really believe in strongly about friendships and family and external relationships, right? I have gotten to the places where I am now because of that, in some retrospect, right? But when you see that and you hear a person's significant other and you start to see different things, they start to see different things about them that you as their friend will never be able to understand, or you might be able to. And this is where you have like covert narcissists. This is where you have the what is that, who's that guy, is it Ted Bundy and all that stuff, or the Twitter guy, right? That was going around scamming all these people. It's usually who outs them is not a friend. It's never a friend. It's never a coworker. It's usually a victim. It's usually a person who was romantically involved with a person, right? And so there is a certain level of intimacy and vulnerability that you have in relationships that you tend to not necessarily have to tap into in relationships and friendships and on a day-to-day basis. Not to say that friendships are not vulnerable, not to say that you can't cry with your friends, you don't pray with your friends, you don't say your darkest secrets to your friends, but there's still a level of control that you can that you can have. And so when you find yourself in situations where you're dating somebody and everybody's like, this is a great person. What are you talking about? This and that, blah, blah. And, but, or you are the friend who um, has a friend who all of their partners, right, um, are expressing this same level of abuse. You need to sit there and think, dude, is there something off with you? Oh, girl, is there something off with you? Right? And I'm not talking about people who attract abusers, because sometimes you do attract abusers, just like when you're a person of light, you usually attract people who are abusers, and you attract people of light, right? And it's and in that journey you learn to choose people who are of the light, so you don't continue to go through those abusive situations, right? Because you attract both. You don't just attract one, but that is your journey. So I'm just saying that because a lot of times people can go through life being abusers because they're able to control outside opinions so well. Their intimate relationships, people just expect that to be a little toxic. People just expect that to be a little crazy. That's why usually abusers move on to their next victims, right? And I don't know. I just felt like I needed to say that for some reason, because people will, when you're in these situations, sometimes it feels like it's the whole community that's like, nobody sees this, right? Or you're in a friend group and you see that this person is like, this is a toxic person. This person might be a little off, and they choose you to get their fix, right? Because it's a little twisted thing that they like to abuse it, a little sadistic. And nobody's seeing this because they're able to maintain other relationships. And usually abusers who do that, they have confided in you some of their deepest secrets or some of their darkest issues. And so you feel some kind of way towards them, you feel some kind of empathy towards them, but they're using that to kind of reel you um, in some sort of fashion, or they are mirroring you in some sort of way. I don't know why I'm saying this. I just felt like I need to get this off and kind of unpack it. This is just like raw thoughts. All of it could just be like, excuse me. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get back to washing these dishes. Yeah, these dishes. Love you.